Anaconda is directed by Tom Gormican and stars Paul Rudd, Jack Black, Steve Zahn, and Tandy Newton. And it tells the story of a couple of friends who decide they want to remake Anaconda. And they go out into the Amazon to try to make this thing on a very, very small shoestring budget. And then it turns out they're actually facing an actual anaconda out to kill them. Okay, Anaconda. When I saw the trailers for this movie, I thought, wow, this looks like it's going to be one of the biggest pieces of shit of the year. And considering my pretty bad track record with Jack Black for the past year or so, with Borderlands and a Minecraft movie, I was not really looking forward to this movie, just for those two reasons. I will say, I was surprised. This movie was not terrible. I mean, it's not great or anything. I didn't love this movie, but it was alright. First off, I really liked the chemistry between the characters. I thought Jack Black and Paul Rudd worked surprisingly well together. They were great. And Steve Zahn always brings a few pretty funny moments too. I mean, Steve Zahn is a very underrated comedic talent, so it was great to see him here, just lighten the mood up here, just make this movie a bit more enjoyable. Tandy Newton, while I do think she was kind of wasted here, she did all right in her role. She was perfectly fine. The action sequences, because this is an action comedy, the action sequences were decently entertaining, especially in the final act. When that snake showed up, this movie just picked it up, and it was quite entertaining. So I will admit, I was very surprised with this movie. And also the concept for this movie, considering it's part of the Anaconda franchise, it felt fresh just for this franchise. I mean, this movie does come off as a very tame dollar store Tropic Thunder in a lot of ways, but I thought the concept worked just fine. I thought it was a decent way to reinvigorate some freshness in this franchise. I mean, this franchise has been dormant for over 20 years now, and I thought making this a concept to bring back this franchise, I thought was a pretty fresh, welcome way to hopefully bring some more people in to be interested in the original Anaconda, because the original Anaconda is some nice cheesy fun, and while this movie's more intentionally funny, I thought it did a decent job at bringing back that nice campy charm that the first Anaconda had. Now, as for issues with Anaconda, like I said, this movie has chuckle-worthy moments, but is there any, really, really funny moments in this movie? No. This movie doesn't really put enough effort into its comedy to really be funny. Yeah, I did chuckle and smile a few times, but I never laughed, full-on laughing. This isn't The Naked Gun or anything, but I will say it is a much better effort at being a comedy than something like Happy Gilmore 2, or Kinda Pregnant, so there's that. Also, despite the fact that this movie is only an hour and a half, there are some scenes in this movie that I do think dragged a bit, so it does feel a bit longer than an hour and a half. It's just a gripe that I have. I thought this movie would have been a much faster paced movie, but there are some entertaining aspects of this movie, like the action and the banter between mainly Jack Black and Paul Rudd, but there's other times in this movie where I'm like, okay, come on, you could pick up the pace just a little bit. It would have just, made this movie feel a little bit tighter. And that's also considering this movie is kind of a mess in terms of its story. There's a lot of stuff going on here. But other than that, Anaconda was surprisingly okay. It's not great, it's not particularly good, but it's not terrible either. I was expecting this movie to be fucking awful. I thought this was going to be garbage, judging by the trailers, but I was pleasantly surprised. I was amazed. I was kind of shocked that this movie turned out to be all right. I'm serious. If you ever catch this movie in theaters, I wouldn't pay full price for a ticket, but absolutely go on a matinee. I think there's far worse movies you could be seeing in theaters right now. I will say I enjoyed this more than Avatar, so there's that. I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, Anaconda, surprisingly decent. Check it out. I am going to give Anaconda a B-.